Okay, so we are going to do the, really, I kind of like to call this the 4 seasons of foreplay, because really throughout the month, this is really what you're doing. You're establishing your relationship to get better and better and better. And it's not going to happen the first time around, because you have to sort of keep working on you have to keep doing each of these things to affect the next month. You have to, what you're doing today affects next week, and then what you're doing in this month affects next month. So it's something that you're just sort of building on. So we're going to do these 4 phases. What happens here is, this is week 1, so
We're holding hands.
we're holding hands. The me as the medicine carrier, as the womb carrier, the female who bleeds, is standing on the left side, and that's the receiving feminine side. It's an internal action. The man is on the right side, on the masculine side, who is, it's more of an action-oriented, that's what our right sides are doing, is more of an action side, and holding space for this whole thing. So what happens here is that this is week 1, her bleeding phase, and this is super internal. It's like new moon energy. So what you're doing is, you just need the space to really process this and do the work. This is super powerful work. This is your this is the time when you're in between veils. So you're connecting with the ancestors. You've got a flashlight looking inward, as sort of processing, letting go of things that no longer serve, and also allowing your visionary to come in, and your best ideas are going to come in during this time. So everything just needs to be really mellow during this week. You yourself need to be more mellow. I mean, if you have to go to work, if you have to run a marathon, whatever, do it, but you prepare for it differently. You rest more, you work up to it, eat nourishing things that digest well. So sexually, you want to keep everything just super sweet. I mean, whether you have intercourse or not is really between the two of you, because blood's involved. But what's really helpful is when the protector over here really protects the space and helps the home to just be mellow, is really protecting this visionary action going on in here, and just sort of honoring that. And this is a really important position for the man, because it's just a real opportunity to really be taking care of things in the outward relationship, in the home, and everything. Okay, so anyway, that's week 1. So week 2 is, now remember, this is a cycle, so we're going to be creating a circle here. So this is week 1, this is week 2.
Still holding hands.
Still holding hands. So week 2 is, this is the super romantic week. So this is, we already know that the period's out of the way. Now all of a sudden estrogen's building, eggs are maturing, and this is just super romantic. So this is the time that you want to do, although we have to go this way.
Oh, sorry.
We're doing heart-to-hearts here. So we're connecting our hearts. We're doing these heart-to-heart talks. We're telling each other how much we love each other. I love you so much. And what I love about you most, I can't even say, because there are so many things that I love about you. But I love how fun you are. I love how much you cook for me. I love, all that.
I love the temperature of your hands.
Thank you. Okay, so see, you do that kind of stuff. You also go out, you play. This is date week. You are really just going out and having fun with each other, because you could do that anytime throughout the cycle, but this is just the best time for it. Estrogen is a super party girl drug in a major way, and so you want to have fun with it, and so you give each other. You need that for your relationship bank account, is to be really telling each other what you do love about each other.
You have to keep holding my hand.
Okay, so then that way, when you are when you do have some things to address, you're both in a much more open and loving place, and then you want to conclude any of those things with more compliments for each other. Okay, but this is a fun time. Sexually, it's just super romantic. You bring out all your romantic things that you do, and then towards the end of that week, as you get towards ovulation, then you just get into more intense sex or whatever. That's just kind of
the train is pulling into the ovulation station.
That's right. Oh, that's good. I like it. Okay, so that is week 2. Okay, so heart-to-heart talks. Heart-to-heart talks. Okay, now week 3. we're gonna turn this way, but then let's go this way, okay? So pretend that we've turned all the way around. We'll end this showing a certain way, but now I'm on the right side because week 3 is much more powerful. It's a very balanced week. If you do your nutrition well, and there's so many things I can say about week 3 that gets overlooked by everything else. It seems like that I read about week 3 out there. But what happens is that now you're past ovulation, but now the body doesn't know if it's pregnant. So it's got this whole week to go through to see what the egg is doing. And so this is a time of nurturing. Okay, so it's sort of at this mother phase. So you're in this world mother phase, sort of this world leader, wise woman phase. So the guy at this point now can be on the left side where he can just kick back and relax and sort of enjoy the fact that you're out there being a leader or speaking up more. But this is what's so important about this week also. And I'm going to turn back toward each other.
Is our back supposed to be this way? Like, are we supposed to be facing that way?
We're supposed to be, yeah, like this. I mean, because we'd be like this. Okay, because we've gone from here to here to here, okay? I'm just trying to talk to the camera is all. So this is where you're at. But what you also want to do is, this is the time, so the second week was heart-to-heart talks. Right now this is, I'm going to turn it back this way just to show you this. But this is, so put your hand up here.
And on your hip?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this would be a week 3 move, even though we're facing each other. But what this means is this is mind-to-mind talks in week 3. What mind-to-mind talks means what's going on with our money, what's going on where we're living, what's going on if you have any kids or animals or, you know, any of that kind of stuff, like the practical things, what's going on with our jobs. So this is the time to work this out. And the reason why this is a good time to work this out is because, first of all, week 2, you've had a good time together. You've said some nice things. You've worked out those things. Week 3, your progesterone, you've lost the crazy estrogen party girl drug, but now you've got progesterone that is skyrocketed. And what happens with progesterone is a super balancing, calming drug. This is the best time. This is the week to make really good decisions. It just is. So we've started here. Let's do this again. Here's week 1. Everything's mellow, nice and mellow. This is week 2. This is super fun week and heart-to-heart week. This is week 3. So sexually, your body is just sort of waiting to see if it's pregnant and that kind of thing. But this is a more sophisticated time. Sex isn't as crazy. This is more like week 2, you went to the festival and music festival and that kind of thing. Week 3, you go to the symphony. It's more time for being more of a sophisticated couple because you're not ovulating anymore. Your body just isn't as driven for sex, but you can still have sex. Sex doesn't have to be crazy every day or every week. There's certain times for it that is just, you know, it's got its times, and then it's just more mellow and just kind of average during this time. Okay, so.
Wait, now
wait a minute,
back to back.
I know.
Oh.
Week 1, week 2, week 3.
Is this the one where we're supposed to be head to head?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Right, except for that you're really, you know, you're still having these different kinds of talks, so you have to sort of face each other for that. Yeah. So again, she's on the right, more active, more leadership role, and the guy gets to just rest and kick back. You know, there's times he can't, you know, being the protector all the time is a big job and a lot of energy to handle. So sometimes it's nice to just kick back. So the guy can just kick back on this one. Okay, so now here's week 4. This is super important because
we're still holding hands.
We're still holding hands. But now you've got each other's back, but you're not doing stuff together. You are, okay, so over here in week 3, here's something that I forgot to talk about. Okay, so we got to go back over here. Week 3, what's important about that in these mind-to-mind talks, not only are you talking about the house or different things like that, you're talking about your chores. You're talking about who needs to do what. So this is an important time to talk about those kinds of things. If you don't talk about them here, they don't often get talked about, and then week 4 is very frustrating. So let's just say that I, as the female, what I'm feeling like, I want my chores around the house to be is I'll clean out the cat box and, you know, I don't know what else. And then the guy says, I will...
water the plants.
Water the plants, and whose turn is it to straighten up the garage, or you know, whatever it is. Like you work that stuff out right here in week 3. This is crucial that you do this. Remember, week 2 is the what do I love about you? It's more romantic and that kind of thing. Sexy time. Week 3 is really practical. And those practical things are crucial to talk about at this point. Or like, I didn't like cleaning out, the reason why I don't like cleaning out the cat box is whatever. You work this stuff out right here.
Stinky.
Yeah, all of that. So the reason why that is important is because when you get...
You just need to stop for the beginning.
Okay, so wait. So we're at week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Now, here you are in your fire walk. Okay, now, you've lost your estrogen already. Now you're going to lose your progesterone. It's like falling off the cliff. You are losing your feel-good drugs. This is crucial to understand because there's nothing wrong with this week. Your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, but how you approach it is totally different. And so what happens is that you need to just focus on your work here. What's happening is you're in survival mode here. As the female, what's happening is that a pregnancy didn't save progesterone. A pregnancy didn't save these hormones, these feel-good drugs to keep going. Everything has to come down again. The uterine lining has to come down. And right now, everything is breaking down, including your emotions. Things are trying to work their way out of your skin. You feel, everything feels on edge. That's why I think of it as the hottest day of summer, or like fire, because everything, you know, can make you feel edgy physically and then emotionally as well. So what happens here is that you need to be really mindful. And when you are doing that, it's hard to have somebody having conversations with you about things. So you've just got this work to do, and your job as the female is to look at the things that are being presented that rise to the surface that irritate you, because these are things that can be worked out later in the cycle next time around. So your job is to stay focused in this direction. Do the things that you said you needed to do. You said you'd clean that cat box. Do the cat box well. Don't have another conversation about it here.
Clean that goddamn cat box.
Yeah, clean the damn cat box. And now, whatever he said he was going to do, oh my God, do that. You know, don't take that as the week to take off somewhere and not do that. What were you doing again? Watering the plants. Okay.
Yeah.
So please just water the plants at this time. But here's the most important thing about this back-to-back is that really the person now who is in the right position again, the protector stage, has your back, not throwing darts at you for being edgy, just focusing on his chores that he said. So do everything you said you'd do at this week. And the female, your job is to not throw fireballs, but to stay focused over here. The more and more you do this stuff, the better this week will get, because you've been working out each thing in the week that you had quiet, in the week that you had heart-to-heart talks, in the week that you had mind-to-mind talks. By the time you get to this week, each month, it just gets better because you're working out more of the stuff. Now, here's the thing that you're going to discover. As you notice as the female, what rises to the surface. See, anything that happens, so we're going to come back around here for just a second. Back to week 1, but I want to talk about week 4 for a second. What happens here is that because you're in survival mode, anything that comes your way, any problem, let's say there's a money issue. Any money issue that comes up while you are in the survival mode is a threat to your survival and that of your future offspring or your family circle or anything. And you turn into this mama bear, sort of this ferocious mama bear. You're in survival mode. So what happens is that as you start noticing, instead of trying to get away from this week, start embracing it and start enjoying it and start rewarding yourself for noticing what's coming to the surface for you. And what you'll find out is that a big portion of the time, what you've set up for yourself can be avoided in the future when you become more mindful. Here's an example. And then, I mean, I could talk about this for hours, so we won't go on and on with this video. But here we are. When you do the work here in week 1, you're getting your best ideas coming in. You're doing this internal work. You're releasing stuff that no longer serves. In week 2, the problem with week 2 is that you feel so good in week 2 is that you say yes to everything. And so somebody might say, hey, will you get all the bands for the music event coming up, and you're saying, yes, I'll totally get the bands, and you feel complimented because you know who the bands are and you're going to get them and you're excited and you're saying yes. Okay, so keep that in mind. So then you come around
Dare
here
to say no, kids.
yeah, and so week 3, and then you're over here in week 4, and somebody calls you on the phone and says, hey, what bands did you get? And you're like, oh, why is it always me? Why do I always have to be the one that gets the bands? Like, I've taught you all how to do it before. Why is it always me? So what you end up discovering is that the things that are coming up in week 4, you actually, in many cases, not always, but in so many ways, you set yourself up right here and said yes too many times. And you started adding too much onto your plate right here. This week you think nothing is happening because you feel good, but what happens is you have to be mindful to not set yourself up for failure when you're over here, okay? So the main thing about having each other's backs is that you're agreeing to really do your work. This is ceremonial work right here. This is radical work of super mindfulness and being aware of what is. This is a good time to journal and write things down. For the guy, it's a good time to write things down if you're noticing things that need to be addressed later. This is not the time to work anything out. Oh, sexually in this one, this is where I say, just like do the quickies. No conversation about what you like, no conversation, no instructions, no anything. Like get in, get out, because the body is under such stress that sometimes just getting in there and just screwing just feels good to the body, but no conversations, no relationship building, just get in, get out, and done. But if you try to start working things out and having a conversation in this week 4, it's just no good. It's just no good. You've already had your time. Wait on those things. You can write things down and then wait and talk about them either during the heart to heart or during the mind to mind. Okay? So one more time. Week 1, week 2, week 3,
Put your hand against my head.
week 3, and week 4, back to back, and back to week 1. Okay? There's a whole other second section to that in the workshop that I do, but that's enough for now. I've talked a lot. So, hopefully that's helpful.
I don't even know if this video is short enough to send.
Okay.
I need a snack.
17 minutes.